Ooh, interesting story today broken by Boing Boing. They went back and found an old New York Times article from 1927 that talks about Fred Trump, father of Donald Trump. So let me quote, "A man named Fred Trump was among those arrested in a massive brawl between KKK members and police at a 1927 Memorial Day parade in New York City. He was not on the side of the police." Now, is it the same Fred Trump? It could have been a different Fred Trump. Well, here's interesting evidence. The Times article listed the arrestee's address as 17524 Devonshire Road in Jamaica Estates, Queens. Past local news reports noted that the Republican presidential frontrunner's father lived at that address. So now Business Insider explains, it's unclear to what extent, if any, Fred Trump was involved with the group, meaning the KKK, based on the New York Times report. As the incident happened nearly 20 years before Donald Trump was born, it's also unclear whether the real estate mogul knew anything of his father's youthful arrest. Now, that is true. So one thing to note here, look, a lot of these guys, if you look at their fathers and their grandfathers, you wind up finding questionable things. The Koch brothers, for example, their father, funny enough, also named Fred Koch, made his fortune by working with Joseph Stalin. Then he came back and became a deep right-winger. Maybe it was over guilt of all the money that he made from Stalin. You look at Prescott Bush. Well, he, of course, was the father of George H.W. Bush and the grandfather of George W. Bush. He worked with the Germans before we went to World War II. You know what the Germans were back then? Nazis. Now, theoretically, he stopped after the war. And look, he was a banker, and at the time, they were doing multinational business deals. These are all the excuses, right? And maybe legitimate ones. And so if you go back far enough, are you going to find out that a lot of white people's parents and grandparents in 1927 were deeply racist? Probably, right? So did that wind up affecting the son's views? Well, we'll never know. But you can't pass the sins of the father onto the son. So in this case, my final judgment on Donald Trump is he's certainly not guilty for something his father might have done back in 1927. Keep it real, be fair and honest, not guilty.